Hello everyone. Today we'll be going over Excel VBA for design and prototyping. We'll be getting a brief review of what design tools and prototyping really is and how Excel VBA can be used for both of these applications. So one of the problems in the design process is that certain processes are actually repetitive and can be automated to make things easier on the design team. Design tools actually automate these processes and possibly even allow designers to lay out design ideas and implement these ideas. Prototyping is a process in which unfinished implementations of a design can be created for testing. Prototyping allows designers to test and implement new design ideas. Prototyping tools are actually design tools. um, a major benefit of prototyping is that it actually points out big issues in certain design ideas and can tell designers whether they need to go back and scrap an idea or rethink the idea. Visual Basic can be used as both a prototyping tool and a design tool, as it can automate certain processes for design teams, as well as be used to create mockups. Visual Basic is a great tool because it's very accessible. If you have Microsoft Office, Visual Basic and Excel. Using Excel Visual Basic actually encourages an iterative development process. Iterative development is important because if designers keep a good version history, if they implement a new design idea in a certain version and it fails, they can revert back to a successful iteration and then rethink their design idea from there. Excel VBA actually makes version history very easy as you can save different versions in different documents. Excel VBA mockups can be used both internally and externally. Internally meaning that they can be used by the design team for testing, but externally meaning that they can be sent out to end users so that they can test certain user interface ideas or feel for the functionality of the product. Speaking of graphical user interface designs, this is one of the places where VBA shines the most. It's very powerful as it uses the form creation in the Visual Basic editor. You can insert a form, and then this will be a layout for the creation of a graphical user interface. All the certain components that are necessary to create a graphical user interface are hosted in the toolbox, which will be discussed later in the demo. So now, the best way to get a good feel for Excel Visual Basic and how powerful it is and how it can be used is through a short demo. The first thing you're going to need to do is to enable the Developer tab in Excel. To do this, you're going to go over to File, you're going to click File. In the bottom left, after you click File of your screen, there's going to be an Options button. Once you click Options, this Excel Options tab will pop up here. Follow the arrows and make sure that everything's clicked that is described in this slide. And then you will be able to use Developer to access the Visual Basic Editor. Once you have access to the Visual Basic Editor, by clicking the Developer tab and clicking Visual Basic here, you'll be able to insert a user form shown here. Once you insert the user form, which is this here, you will be able to start creating your graphical user interface by using the components of the toolbox that was described earlier, shown here. The arrows in the description will help you get started on the creation of graphical user interface. The goal of this demo is to create this data entry form here. The nice thing about Visual Basic is that once the user enters information in these text boxes, it will automatically flow from top to bottom, which is a good practice for user interface design. The controls are labeled here that you will need to input on either side from the toolbox and the GUI that you want to create. The only coding in this demo is going to correspond to the Enter button, which is the command button pictured here. The code for the command button is pictured right here. You can paste this right into the Visual Basic editor after you double click on the command button. This will open up this window for code entry. The most important thing to know about this is that all the names used here need to match the names of your certain components. So when you click on a component, its properties will be listed here. The name can be found right there. So once you insert a text box and click it, its name will be there. To refer to this text box, let's say, for example, we refer to txt name, which is the name of my name text box labeled there. This name needs to correspond to txt name to be referred as such in the program, or the program will not work. After you've done the code and changed the names necessary, then you can open a module. To open a module, do the same as you did for inserting a user form, but now click this pull-down tab. You will see Insert Module. Once you click that, a window similar to this will open. You're going to want to do sub, run user entry form, and then form data entry.show. This is the name of our form. So right here, when you first enter your form, like before, you're going to see the name is user form 1. If you want to leave this name as user form 1, you're going to have user form 1.show. Make sure your names correspond to your program. By following these 3 slides, and by also following this short demo, you should easily be able to create this graphical user interface in which we'll take information from the user. After clicking the command button, we'll save it to a text file. It also has error messages in case the user forgets to fill out one of the text boxes. I hope this demo and introduction on Excel VBA was enlightening and that you found it interesting. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my contact information in the last slide, which will be attached with this video. I hope you guys have fun with VBA and get a hold of me if you have any questions.